Hello everybody, here we are today. We're going to be talking about the big extension between Timo Meier and the New Jersey Devils. But before we start, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me, new to my channel, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's get into it. Now, I don't expect this to be a super long video. This is coming out a couple hours after the news broke. I had a family member that had a car issue, so I basically have to kind of drive them around a little bit later today and then had to go pick them up too. But anyway, back to the Meier trade, or not trade, the extension. He signs an 8-year, $8.8 million deal with the New Jersey Devils to stay with him for the long-term future. You know, it's just north of $70 million, and it says, you know, kind of a good thing about the Devils going forward. They have been very proactive in the past few days. Tom Fitzgerald, the GM, has done a lot of things that I think have been kind of exciting for the team, especially the past 2 days with the Tyler Toffoli trade and now the Meier extension. So with the extension, my thoughts are kind of this. This is a guy that they brought in, and they had just a big trade that involved a lot of different pieces. We're going to have a big trade tree one of these days where somebody breaks this down on a video to see how it ended up. But the big purpose here was to get Meier. And he is a guy that in San Jose had played there about 6.5 years, had a lot of success, even though, you know, especially towards the last part of his time with the team, they weren't exactly a great club. They were still able to say that Timo was doing his part. Now, for him, I think that it's kind of obvious that he's coming off of a career year in terms of goal scoring. He just had a 40-goal season, had 31 of those with the Sharks, 9 of those with the Devils, but he's a guy that they view as a game changer. That's why they traded to get him. And he was an RFA going into July 1st. He would have been an RFA. They are able to avoid all that nonsense and just get him to where they have him locked up for almost the next decade. Kind of like the Pierre-Luc Dubois signing. It obviously can't be 10 years because it's only allowed to be 8 years now, compared to when some of these contracts like 15 years for Ovi's old deal. But yeah, this is one of those things that for the Devils, this puts them in a great spot because they're looking not to compete, but to contend for the Stanley Cup. The Devils have not won the Stanley Cup since 2003. They won in 95, 2000, and 2003. They've only made one trip to the Stanley Cup final since 2003, going back in 2012. That was the last time they did it. And this Devils team this year with Meier on it was the first team since that 2012 Devils team to get out of the first round in the playoffs. And with him there, it's obvious they have a guy that is a consistent goal scorer. He might not get you another 40 goals this year. It's tough to say because 40 goals is a lot. That is about a goal per game, or a goal every other game. But he's just a guy that has a lot of offensive talent and is a good, strong net front presence, which I think is really crucial. A lot of people, you know, don't think about that stuff. They want the high end, the flashiness, but a guy that can really get down there and get goals off deflections, tips, all that stuff is really big, especially when you have teams that are really good, especially in the playoffs, of making sure you're not getting down on the crease. To have a guy like him, that could be a game changer, and I just hope that this works out for them because, again, with the addition of Tyler Toffoli, I was going to do a video over him, but with a family member needing help, don't really have the time to do it, but with the addition of Toffoli kind of tied in with this Meier extension, they're really looking to do something. They didn't trade for a 30-plus-year-old winger, 30-plus-year-old forward, to, you know, just try to take a gamble and say, oh, we hope he has a good year. They got a guy that is coming off of 73-point season. That was his career best. They brought him in and traded away a third-line player for them that they, you know, could have kept because they wanted to bring in a guy that they feel like is going to help this team out. Now, they had the third best point total, I think, 4 teams this season, and, you know, just kind of with how things are panning out, the Devils do look like one of the contenders, not only to be one of the best teams in their division. Of course, they're in the division with Carolina, so that's tough, but one of the best teams in the conference, in the league. And with the Timo Meier extension, this helps them kind of keep that really good future and keep this, you know, really good young core out there for the future. I'm sorry, I think there's birds in the background, but anyway, what are your thoughts on the Timo extension? I'd love to hear them down below in the comments, as the Devils feel pretty good after the past 2 days of moves. Anyway, also please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe, have a great night, and you go Valky, alright. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.